Erev Tov Rabotai, we are continuing with our Mishna Yomi, Masechet, Yevamot. We are up to Perek Mishnah Bet. Today's Mishnayot should be Leilun Nishmat, Neria ben Svetlana, Ranbayev, Niliyahu ben Burcha, Israelo, ben Chana bad Miriam, Menuchatam began Eden, Amen, Lavdi ben Chaim Lachaim, v'derefua shenemav Daniel Shalom ben Rosa, Betor Shah Chulei Israel. The dispute in the previous Mishnah dealt with cases where one of the four actions, get, ma'amah, chalitza, cohabitation, was done twice. This implies that all agree that where different acts are performed, the second act is effective. The next two Mishnayot teach the basic law for such cases. The Mishnah begins by speaking of a case where the Yavam performed two different acts with the same widow. Ketzad, how so? How does the law play out in all the possible cases where two different acts are performed by the same brother and widow? The Mishnah begins with cases where the first act was ma'amar. Asa ma'amar bivimto. If he made ma'amar with his Yevamot, thereby creating a rabbinic marriage with her, v'natan la get, and then gave her a get which ended this ma'amar marriage, tzricha imenu chalitza, she still needs chalitza from him to be free to marry others. He cannot perform yibum with her because the get prohibited yibum. Therefore, he must perform chalitza to remove the yibum band that remains on the biblical level. Asa ma'amar v'chalitza, if he made ma'amar with her and then chalitza, tzricha imenu get, she still needs a get from him in order to release her from the ma'amar marriage. Since she has already had chalitza, she is free to marry others once she receives the get. Although the biblical yibum ban is removed with chalitza, the rabbis decreed that the rabbinic ma'amar marriage remains in effect even afterward until it is removed with the get. Once the rabbinic marriage takes effect before chalitza, it remains in place even after chalitza. Asa ma'amar u'ba'al, if he made ma'amar and then cohabited with her, harezu kimitzvata, this is yibum as it should be done. The rabbis enacted the ma'amar should be performed before the actual yibum takes place, as the commentators explain from the Gemara on page 52a in Masechet Yevamot. That is the end of Mishnah Bet. Mishnah Gimel now continues from the previous Mishnah, which listed all the possible cases of ma'amar followed by different act, and the Mishnah now goes through all the cases where the first act was giving a get. Natan get v'asa ma'amar. If he first gave a get to his Yevamot and then made ma'amar with her, tzicha get v'chalitza. She needs a second get and chalitza. The get to end the ma'amar marriage and the chalitza to remove the biblical yibum bond that is still in place. He cannot perform yibum because the get he gave originally prohibited yibum. Natan get to Baal, if he gave her a get and then cohabited with her, tzicha get v'chalitza. She needs a get and chalitza. Although once he gave her a get, he was forbidden to cohabit with her. On the biblical level, the cohabitation was a valid yibum, so they are now married. He must therefore end this marriage by divorcing her with the get. She cannot stay married to him because the get he gave originally made her prohibited to him as if she were his chalutza. On the other hand, since this cohabitation was forbidden, the rabbis treated it as a flawed yibum, which does not fully remove the yibum bond. The rabbis decreed that whenever a cohabitation is forbidden, it does not fully remove the yibum bond. Therefore, on the rabbinic level, she still needs chalitza. Natan get v'chalatz. If he gave her a get and then performed chalitza with her, en acha chalitza klum, there is nothing after chalitza, meaning there is no yibum related action that takes effect after chalitza, since the chalitza completely removed the yibum bond. Not only does she not need any further action to free her to marry others, since chalitza surely removed whatever yibum bond remained after the get, but none of the other yibum related acts can take effect on her either, since chalitza ends the yibum bond completely. Therefore, if he made ma'amar with her after the chalitza, it would have no effect. Next, the Mishnah goes through all the cases in which the first act was chalitza, followed by all the cases in which the first act was cohabitation. Chalatz. If he performed chalitza with her, v'asa ma'amar, and then either made ma'amar with her, natan get, or gave her a get, u'ba'al, or cohabited with her, or ba'al, or if he first cohabited with her, v'asa ma'amar, and then either made ma'amar with her, natan get, or gave her a get, v'chalatz, or performed chalitza with her, en acha chalitza klum, there is nothing after chalitza, meaning none of the three acts that followed the chalitza had any effect, because the chalitza completely removed the yibum bond. This includes the case of chalitza followed by ma'amar. Now the commentators actually explain, the Rav says this presents a difficulty. Why? Ma'amar is simply an act of kiddushin. If so, since the prohibition to marry a chalutza is punishable only by lashes, the ma'amar should take effect. So we must therefore say that our Mishnah follows the minority view that kiddushin does not take hold, even on prohibitions punishable only by malkut, which is the view of Rabbi Akiva in chapter 4, Mishnah 12 and 13. Similarly, none of the three acts that followed cohabitation have any effect because the cohabitation completely erased the Yibum ban. Now the commentators explain if he gave her a get after cohabiting with her, it would be effective since he would be simply divorcing the wife he had acquired through Yibum. What the Mishnah means is that the cohabitation created a full marriage bond so that no chalitza is necessary. So in short, after a rabbinic act, ma'amar or get, a second act, whether biblical or rabbinic, has an effect. But after a biblical act, cohabitation or chalitza, a second act has no effect. So the Mishnah has until now given the laws of two acts performed by one Yavam with one widow. The Mishnah now states the law for two acts performed by one Yavam with two widows, one with each. Achat Yevama, achat liavem echad. The rules we have learned in the previous Mishnah applies both to one Yevama involved with one Yavam, V'achat shtei Yevamot liavam echad, as well as the two Yevamas involved with one Yavam, where the Yavam performs the first act with one Yevama and the other act with their co-wife, and B'ezrat Hashem B'li Neder, the next Mishnah we will do tomorrow will illustrate these cases. And that is on Rabotai of today's Mishna Yomi. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen v'amen.